back, everyone, to Target Field as we get you set for the home opener. The Minnesota Twins, of course, taking on Tampa Bay today. We're going to get you all set. I am here with Simone Woolridge. We are live until 2 o'clock. We're going to take you right up to the pregame show. And joining us now, a guest that you all know, not only from the baseball field, but from the broadcast booth, Tim Laudner. Tim, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
You know, my first question always is, for someone who's played the game for so long and been in broadcasting for about 18 years now.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Do you still get kind of all the feels for the home opener?
Not like when you were a player. You don't get the same kind of butterflies, but there is a level of excitement about opening day and the start of a season, the start of a long season, 162-game season. So, the guys down on the field, they're excited to get their home opener underway. And with all the pomp and circumstance, this will be the third home opener that the Twins will have played this year. All these guys want to do is play the game of baseball. That's all they want to do. We'll go out to the line when they announce our names, and we'll get rid of all this stuff, but they want to get into the flow of the season. And the sooner they do that, the much better off that they're going to be.
Yeah, when you talk about how long the game is played, how many 100-plus, 160-plus games per season, is there an off time for you? Like, do you find some off time during the off season, or is it still all baseball for you?
Well, it's called the All-Star break. You get a couple, 3-4 days there. But you know what? That's what these guys train for. They understand when they signed up that it's a 162-game season, and that it starts in February down in Fort Myers for spring training. And once that's over, these guys can't wait to get the season going. And to get into the flow of things, offensively, defensively, even from a pitching standpoint, they don't want idle time. And as the season goes along, you get into August and September, you get an off day, and then the next day you come back. Sometimes as a hitter, you don't even understand which end of the bat to pick up, even after one day off. So they want to keep into the flow of things. They want to continue to play baseball because that's what they signed up to do. They know it's a 162-game season. That's what's going to determine the best team at the end of September.
Tim, let me get into a little bit of baseball with you yesterday when we saw Taj Bradley throw a 100-mile-per-hour fastball. That must make you salivate, too. And I know, like, catchers sometimes don't want to catch something that hard. What do you see in him? I know there's a maturation process going on with him right now, but what did you like?
I liked everything about his start yesterday. I thought he had a good live fastball, and he mixed in 4 or 5, maybe even 6 different pitches. Some of these pitchers that go to the mound these days, they claim that they have 6 pitches, and catchers only have 5 fingers. Good thing that they have those buttons nowadays, because then they can signal a pitch. But I thought he did a nice job. And, I know he registered 100 on the radar gun. But I always tell people, I know these guys are throwing hard. The guys threw hard in my era as well, and every era in between. But one of the things that I always talk about is the fact that the human body's only capable of so much. And I know these guys are bigger, faster, stronger. But for me, the way that they measure these pitch speeds nowadays is much more elaborate than it used to be. And so you're going to get those triple figures on guys throwing fastballs. Are they throwing harder than previous generations? Maybe a touch. But the reality is that you still have to make sure that you make good pitches, hit the spots that you need to hit, and pitch. The days of just rearing back and firing, that's not going to get you too much success. You have to be able to pitch the baseball, hit your spots, mix in your pitches, and be very good with your secondary pitches as well.
Yeah, let's keep talking about the game yesterday in Kansas City. 3 home runs, top of the 9th.
Yep.
What do you make of that? That had to be crazy.
Well, the best thing that I saw, first of all, is the 2 lefties that stepped up, Cody Clemens and Matty Wallner. They hit opposite field home runs. And that bodes very well, because that means as a hitter you're staying on the baseball. And I think it's huge for Matty Wallner. We're going to talk about this in our pregame show as well. If Matty Wallner understands that he's strong enough to hit the ball to the opposite field, we've seen him hit balls into this bullpen over here previously last year. He has to understand that he doesn't need to pull every pitch up onto the plaza, because if he tries to do that, then the pitcher's going to have the advantage. But if he tells that pitcher, I'm strong enough to hit the ball the other way, you can't live outside, you have to make good pitches to me, and if he hits one the other way, that's going to open up the inside, because now the pitcher stands on the mound and says, I don't know where to throw this guy. Mm-hmm. And I think that Manny Laudner is capable of having a pretty good year this year, especially after what I saw yesterday.
I want to get your thoughts, the ABS. Like, would you in your day like
what
to be
time is it? What time is it?
It's time.
Would you have liked to have had it?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
You're like, no, let just baseball be pure.
Was it must have been the Tuesday night game? I know the weather was crummy, but I think they set a record for the most challenges in a ball game.
Yeah.
And that was a 3.5-hour game. So everything that we've done to make the games go faster, it seems to me like we've slowed them down a little bit. But the reality is that in society these days, nobody ever wants to make a mistake anymore.
Yeah.
And so that's going to maybe eliminate the number of mistakes that are made. But for me, there's always been a human element to the game of baseball. Mm-hmm. And if you work with that umpire and work together to provide a good product for the people that come out to the ballpark, or for the people that tune in at home on their televisions, then you can still have a really good product. That's what you try to work for.
Before we go, can we see your ring?
I know, it's
just
blinging.
back from the jeweler.
Two more payments and it's mine. Look at that.
What's the monthly payment on that thing?
Yeah, right.
Gotta
We
love it.
appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Ladies, it's great to be with you. Thank you
Tim,
so
thanks
much.
so
have
much.
Way to go.
Another season.
All right, thanks, Tim. Okay, Pierre is somewhere on the field.
Oh, Pierre, nice.
Yeah. Pierre, what you got for us? Where are you?
Guys, I'm right here, right over my right shoulder. We got BP going on here as the Twins get set to take on the Rays here in the home opener. Can't really see who's in the box right now. I do see Royce Lewis standing outside the box ready to get in there, but I think that might be Cody Clemens in the box. Yeah, it is Cody getting some BP in. So we're just getting ready here to get going between the Twins and the Rays. First pitch scheduled for just after 3 o'clock. And guys, I know that we've talked about this team. It's been a little bit of a bumpy start to the season so far. 2 wins in their first 6 games, but perhaps some home field advantage could take Minnesota in another direction here as they look to claw their way back to 500 in the early portion of the season. One interesting tidbit about today's game, this is going to be the 17th home opener here at Target Field, and in 16 games, 16 home openers, I should say, prior to today's game, the Twins are actually 8-8. So again, up and down, like the seasons that we've seen so far, a little bit up and down. The past 16 seasons on opening day here at Target Field, up and down, 8-8. So the Twins have a chance to get over 500 in that regard as well. One other thing to keep your eye on in today's game as well, Byron Buxton has 84 home runs here at Target Field. That is tied with Max Kepler for the most home runs in ballpark history. So if Byron Buxton comes away with a home run today, he will have sole possession of the lead of home runs hit at Target Field today. So that's something exciting to keep your hat on, to keep your eye on, I should say, here when Byron Buxton and the Twins take the field against the Rays, guys.
Well, Pierre, I have one question for you. We just asked Tim Laudner what his thoughts were on the ABS, and he says he did not like it, that everything they did to speed up the game has slowed things right down. And I know that you are never shy to give your opinion in this early going. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I heard what Tim had to say, and I agree that, with what he had to say about the past couple of years, we've tried to speed the game up, and now we're slowing the game down a little bit again with some of these challenges. But at the same time, I'm a little bit torn. I have to be honest I know that's not the greatest answer, but I'm torn because I do appreciate the fact that mistakes need to be made, and there's a human element to the game that I think is now being lost with the ABS, and I can understand why people might miss that. But at the same time, too, I have no issue with wanting to get it right, and I think that we want to get things right, and I don't have any problem with the ABS. Actually, we just talked to Derek Shelton before the game here, and he actually has no problem with the ABS either. He says he's a fan of it so far. The only thing is sometimes it takes a little while for calls to get made, and for games might get extended in terms of playing time. But at the same time, I haven't come across too many people that have a problem with it. I don't necessarily have a problem with it either. I would much rather calls be made right than wrong. So in that stance, I guess I have no issue with it whatsoever.
Yeah, I guess people didn't like instant replay at first when it first came out, right?
Yeah.
Slowing down the game. And then so if they can just kind of refine it maybe a little bit and tweak it, it'd be a good thing.
Man, that's the quietest
And that's the thing,
Pierre opinion I've ever heard.
That's the thing.
He's not warmed up yet.
That's,
Normally, this must be the quiet time, Pierre.
Pierre needs some coffee.
I'm not gonna get warmed up until about June 15th here. I'm gonna be cold opinion-wise. I'm gonna be cold physically for the next 2 months.
See?
So just come back to me in June. We might have something a little.
We'll come up with a question to lather you up next time.
Oh, yeah, we'll get them going.
Yeah.
More hot takes from Pierre. We love it. All right, thanks, Pierre. Okay,
All right,
well,
guys.
Don, we're going to keep the party going.
All
We got a
right.
lot to get to this, till about 2 o'clock. What time is it? 12:25. Yeah, we still had an hour and a half.
Yeah.
To continue talking about the home opener here in downtown Minneapolis. Coming up after the break, we have another big interview.
Yeah, Justin Laudner is going to join us. So everyone knows Justin. Justin also in the broadcast booth now,
Yeah.
but we all know him as the AL MVP, Silver Slugger, you name it, Home Run Derby King. I mean, so a lot to talk with the second half of the M&M brothers, the M&M boys. He'll never outlive that. Sorry, Justin. We've got that and much more coming up. Don't go away.